Up next, though,
Oh, yes.
was
great.
The tag team I did not know I needed until now. Is Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak. Good God, this feud has been so good from start to finish. It's been a great story with Daniel Bryan having holes in his game and Drew Gulak coaching other people into trying to expose these flaws in Daniel Bryan's game. And then they had their match at Elimination Chamber and Drew Gulak did really well. And Bryan was like, oh God, I do have holes in my game. You're right. And then he approached him last week on SmackDown, which we've got a video recap of as well, of him saying, hey, man, you were right. I do have holes in my game. Do you still want to teach? Because I'm willing to listen now. And now Sami Zayn's got involved and said, why are you taking tips from him and not me? I'm the Intercontinental Champion. I'm great, which is great for Sami Zayn as a character. It's great for Drew Gulak, getting tons of exposure and looking like a really good wrestling mind. And it's good for Daniel Bryan, who as a babyface can accept, hey, I'm not as great as I thought I was. Please coach me on the things that I need. These two came out this week. Last week, they came out and there was a little bit of goofiness when they came out and they were like, oh, I don't want to do the yes chants. There's no fans. And then Gulak was like, you should do the yes chant. And they were like, okay, yes. That's cool. Little bit of goofiness. This week, that got ramped up to 11 and I love it and I'm here for it. They both come out as likable rather than what Gronk and Mojo were doing, which was unlikable. These are two goofs goofing around, but being good doing it and being likable while doing it. They come out doing yes to the crowd and they go nuts. But as it cuts into an ad break, Bryan's on the turnbuckle, Gulak's on the apron, just doing yes incessantly. And it was fun. It's fun to watch. And I really like seeing these two together. They have such great chemistry and they work so well together. I love this tag team. I love this tag team so much.
For the exact same note, dude, I've written, oh, this is a fun team. Like, they are really, really good together. And then you had Sam and... so they were taking on Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. So you had Sami Zayn on commentary with Cole. And Sami was brilliant throughout this, really putting over Cesaro and Nakamura, being like, how stupid Bryan and Gulak are. And I've written here, this feels like an actual match coming out of the ad break. Like, this wasn't like we saw the evidence of it last week where the women's tag match they did with Alexa and Cross versus Bayley and Banks, where as soon as they went to ad break, they just stopped wrestling.
Yeah.
The international broadcast showed that they literally just stopped wrestling and then just went back to it 5 seconds before they went back on air. This felt like, and I don't want to make the comparison, but like AEW, Dynamite on Wednesday, where it's just like, do you know what? Let's just go out and have a match. If it goes to ad break, just carry on. And we'll just treat this like it's the same match we would have done with fans here. And it was so much better because of it. It was really, really good. Cesaro, man, is so great. When Gulak gets the hot tag and runs wild and Cesaro gives him that pop-up uppercut, oh, man, it was amazing. Really shuts him down. Then Bryan gets the tag and him and Gulak work together to roll Cesaro up for the win. It was so good. And you had Sami Zayn freaking out on commentary saying that the ref made a bad call. He wasn't actually tagged in. I thought this was awesome. Really enjoyed this.
It was a brilliant segment. Really enjoyed the match. Really enjoyed Sami on commentary. I had a moment like halfway through the match and I was like, oh my God, there's so much talent in this ring.
Yeah.
With Cesaro, Nakamura, Bryan, and Gulak, I was like, oh my God, this is like someone's fever dream match that we're just getting on SmackDown. Yeah. And it was fantastic. I said last week that Cesaro and Bryan was like amazing because how could you have a bad match with Cesaro and Bryan working together? Same for this match. How could you have a bad match when it's these four people wrestling in the ring? It was amazing. And like you said, the working together to roll up Cesaro, and it felt like the way the roll up happened as well. It felt like it was like them being really good wrestlers and technical maneuvers rather than like, oh, a fluke victory. And Sami Zayn was putting that over on commentary. He was like, oh, why's he got the arm? Why's he got the arm? What's he doing? And he rolled in and did like this like sunset roll up essentially. And then got the win off it. It didn't feel cheap and undeserved like a lot of roll up victories can. But it plays into the story of last week as well, because Bryan got the roll-up victory on Cesaro there too. And then we had a backstage segment afterwards where Sami has a sort of legitimate justification of being like, you fluked a win because it was a roll-up. I don't know how they've managed to do it. Somehow it's a cheap victory and not a cheap victory at the same time. And it's great. I love this.
Yeah, Sammy said it was a mediocre win, you know, and it's Bryan challenged Zayn to an IC championship match at Mania, and Zayn said, well, if Gulak can somehow beat Shinsuke Nakamura next week, then we'll have that match at WrestleMania. Now, do you know what's interesting about this? So back at Elimination Chamber, when me and Laurie did the live stream, I posed the question, is this Bryan elevating Gulak? Or, you know, or is it really just demoting Daniel Bryan through no fault of his own? It's just the way that Gulak has been presented. Because, you know, then he was in the ring with like Heath Slater and, you know, all these sorts of jobbers and stuff. But it actually has turned into Bryan getting Gulak over. Gulak now feels like he's at Bryan's level, and the two work so well together as a tag team. And during the show, I was saying, oh, you know, this Zayn win over Braun Strowman makes so much sense. Like, it's really, really good because now you're going to get Sammy versus Braun at WrestleMania, where Braun can finally get his hands on Sammy. And I actually had a lot of people say, like, no, it's going to be Sammy versus Bryan at WrestleMania. And I was like, what? That literally makes no sense. They're not connected. But here we are. Like, you know, I was totally wrong on that. I don't know why they dropped the Braun thing. Like, I don't know. Like, it feels very weird that that's not been continued. But you know what? I don't mind because we're going to get Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, and that's a big old thumbs up from me. And I love this tag team, and I like that the tandem of Cesaro, Shinsuke, and Sami. So yeah, it's a big old thumbs up from me. I loved it.
Exactly. I thought at one point in this backstage segment as well, Sami Zayn was going to say, "If you believe in Gulak so much, I'll have the Intercontinental Championship match against Gulak." And then, when he said against Bryan, I was like, "Oh, it's not Gulak." And then I was like, "Wait, it's Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan. That's amazing!" Yeah. It was like let down, surprise, excitement straight afterwards as well. Yeah, I don't see how you can have any sort of bad matches or feuds coming out of these 5 people interacting because they're all amazing and I love them. I thought this great segment. Gulak's a great babyface. Been elevated so much. Really excited for any sort of matches that come out of this. Excited for Gulak and Nakamura next week. Excited for Bryan and Zayn probably at WrestleMania. I'm well on board.
Well on board for it.